Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Icenia campaign. This is a rare midday recording from myself, so I'm actually in my formal outfit. I'm in my tie and my dress pants and whatnot, so I feel very formal doing this particular recording, let's just say. Anyways, we're back here. We have just won the war against Icenia, and we've assigned a governor to the region, the governor of Demona Orgatora, that's right, the minor character. We spent a little while last episode figuring out who to pick, and we're resuming. So I think we literally paused the day after the war ended, so actually our army got disbanded, but our navy is just returning now to Durawernum. I think I'm going to just have them go chill over there. And in terms of what we're going to be doing now, well, there's going to be some unrest problems here in Ossasimia, as well as continuing unrest problems up here in Hibernia Septentrionalis, as we see here. It is almost secure. This menu, and I mean, honestly, I think I've realized after rewatching a lot of my series as I've made it, this game is 90% just shuffling through menus, at least the way that I play it. If you want to play this game with the ambition that I have to play it in a kind of min-maxy way, I know I don't do that consistently, but that's kind of my general approach. Get ready for this UI, because good lord, you're going to be looking at it quite a lot. But here's an example of when it's not at its best. It does not say here what these numbers are from. Now, if I want to go find the actual settlement and go look at the breakdown of unrest, like, for example, Voluntia Orientalis, I think this is one we've looked at before even. Here in Voluntia Orientalis, we look at the unrest. Now, notice the unrest, or I guess it does show here impact on province loyalty. This is the 0.04 from that previous menu. And the way that unrest is calculated in this game, let me just say, is the most convoluted thing. I think in other Paradox games, they managed to depict unrest a bit more sensibly. With this one, it's just, it's mind-boggling. So it might be more accurate what they're doing in Imperator Rome, but it's not as intuitive. And with a UI this clunky, that's not good. I think, anyways, but so it's 0.019 from this, because the unhappiness is 2.39, which translates into 0.19 territorial provincial loyalty loss. So unhappiness and unrest and provincial loyalty are all separate mechanics interacting with each other. And if we go over and look at what that actually, where that comes from, it is, let's see here, multiplied by 0.222 as 22% of the population of the province. So it's based on the pop cap. So again, this is one of these deep mechanics that I haven't really been thinking about, that there might have been more of an impact on the pop cap of various places than I've thought about, but all those is to say, even like deep in the menu, deep in the UI, with my mouse hovering over the actual icon here, opening up the UI, it still doesn't explain where that's coming from. I don't think it says here how 2.39 translates into 0.19. So we just have to reverse engineer and go back to 2.39. Okay, well, if we look at the pop info, right? So 2.39, it doesn't even say it on here. What am I looking at? I guess it doesn't say it anywhere. You have to just look at the actual like pop icon. So, 1 point. Yeah, what's going on? Someone please help me. I'm just completely baffled how to determine this, because essentially the best I can say, looking at this settlement as just one example of the overall problem with this UI, and I mean, obviously I love this game. I've been playing this game for almost 40 episodes now, and then hundreds of hours before that point. So clearly these comments are coming from a place of love. But as someone who loves grand strategy game design, I find the fact that I can't easily understand what the problem is to then address it, that's very frustrating to me. Because 1.89 unrest being contributed by the citizen pops, the citizens living in this forest village aren't going to be happy whatever I do. These are both Druidic Hibernian citizens, so there's essentially nothing I can do at the end of the day to address the unhappiness coming from the settlements. So since I can't, I'm going to eventually assimilate them to a Kenny, that's going to help them a little bit. And I've done some of the culture stuff to make Hibernians a little less upset. essentially, it's just a matter of waiting out their unrest. It doesn't even say this here, but I just know from playing the game that the unhappiness from being recently conquered goes away. Now, I know that there is in the culture breakdown, it does show that if we look at Hibernian colonial, where was it? Actually, it's gone by now, so I. Anyways, all that to be said, the unrest situation here is not good, but it is about to stabilize, and the one down here is much less stable, but it's also not as severe quite yet, so should be okay. This also was just conquered like a few days ago, so not expecting them to be thrilled with me quite yet. Plus, we haven't sold these resources yet, so we're about to make some more trade money. Okay, let's finally start this video for real now. Check that I'm recording. I always check that I'm recording so many times, but I've never yet made an episode without it recording. I have made that one episode where I forgot to turn my microphone on, but this time my mic is on, we're recording, we're good. Okay. We have received an envoy sent by Tribal Chief Iacus Elitoes, ruler of our subject Brigantia. He offers our ruler, King Donis I Duicus, his personal friendship. Strengthening our connection with our subject could have its benefits. Sure, yeah, I mean, that sounds fine. He's probably going to have a succession pretty soon, but this will, if anything, just secure a few years of likelier Brigantic loyalty, so sounds fine. Briganta, actually, this is quite good. They're gaining opinion of us. We've been trying to gain Brigantic opinion for a while, and now that they're finally willing to join our wars as their contract obligates them, we're not really fighting on the Isles that much, so that's fine. That being said, having just said that, I do have some Isle fighting plans coming up here. I think it's time to continue consolidating Hibernia Septentriontalis. I don't know if I said that right, but we're going to take on, good lord, what is this nation called? Rabogdia. They're diplomatically isolated, they're physically, geographically isolated, and taking on this land, and this is let's see here. Yeah, this is not. Yeah, so taking on this land will at the very least ensure no other full nation lives in Hibernia Septentriontalis with us. We just have to colonize this land over here. Now, we're not doing the conquest missions right now. We're doing the breadbasket mission. So let's go ahead and just fabricate a claim. I know that's, something like 12 and a half months of political influence, but I would rather just get a fabrication. Oh, actually, hold on. My manpower is in a bit of a predicament, but I think I should be able to take on 18 pops worth. So what would that be, like a few hundred soldiers? I'm certainly not going to have problems matching their numbers, and if they have no allies, and I don't know if they're likely to hire mercs, especially if I can get my army into Ablania and in this area before I start the war. I think it should be fine. I guess the question is, would I rather prepare for that war now, or wait until I spend 50 influence to found another city, and then wait to build up influence to do the war? I think we go for it, honestly. I think this is probably the less, I'm going to be fully honest, this is probably the less optimal play. I think it'd be better to wait and do infrastructure stuff for this episode. But after tasting blood last episode, after so many episodes of kind of not having any military stuff to do, my the heat of battle has got me all stirred up. So we're going to go ahead and maybe a little rashly do a claim fabrication on Robogdia. All right, so that's going to take a couple months. Our army should be okay to go by that point. That's going to be the October of this year, so that's when we're going to do the war either way. We actually might even be able to, well, I don't think we could probably take them on just with the Caledonian levy. That would be kind of nice, actually, but I think we're going to have to rely on the Britannic levy. That's fine. All right, here come the trade deals for the new material. You're fine. These guys over in the Alps will sell you the base metals. Very good. Now, there are... Oh my gosh, please just zoom in. My stupid mouse never works. Now, there are actually... there are actually mines and whatnot here already, but I don't really... And farming settlements, but I don't really have the slaves in the area to shift over. I can't ship the slaves over the channel, as far as I'm aware, so our huge slave population on our island aren't very usable in our colonial ventures, so it is what it is. All right, we also have a lot of money, but I'm going to save the money for now because I may have some more infrastructure stuff to invest in pretty soon. Speaking of which, granaries raided. We have received reports. Reports? I'm just changing the word. We have received word from local officials in the province of Icenia that several important provincial food stockpiles have been looted. Okay, this is actually good because one of these options gives me flat provincial loyalty. This one gives me loyalty, but it upsets the governor, whose loyalty is already dubious because she's super corrupt, and she loses personal money. Or I could do this. I gain loyalty with her, I gain loyalty with the province. I lose the money, which is absolutely fine with my current bank account. And let's see here. Gives them I think the modifier is in every case. So I think it's best if I just pay directly. So the state's going to subsidize this situation here. Debona will get some much needed loyalty. So that's going to shore up loyalty from one of our most important minor characters right now. Even though we don't own much of Ormorica, we are going to add to Ormorica pretty soon here. And since she's not in any of the family, she's kind of a wild, chaotic element free agent type floating around. And look, she's already starting to get some power base. She already got 5 power base, so got to keep an eye on that. If she starts to get the loyalty of the local levies, we'll have to be a little careful. But get some loyalty with her, get some loyalty with Icenia. Good all around. Good use of my money there. That's part of why I want to save up the money. But now I have such a big income. I can really be a bit more risky with my money. All right, so we got the Bountiful Harvest event. I need to keep an eye on these minor events because they will sometimes give me things like stability. Or, ooh. Now, it's true I have a lot of money. Let me just preface it with this, but let's do some quick calculations. Even just looking at the numbers, stab is probably still better because that's... I got my calculator here. Let me literally, on the video here, take a moment and calculate because I'm just curious here. So let's see. So 217, we'll round it, divided by 17. That's about a year's worth of income, which means this already is clearly better. But okay, so 3 divided by 0.08. Hold on, wait. I can't divide by a... Hold on. 300 divided by 0.8. Okay, I don't know how to do math. We're taking the stability. Let's just ignore my little math fail there, trying to divide things by decimals. I definitely know algebra, I swear. We're going to grab the stability. Now we're actually almost to full stability, which is going to really help our legitimacy. Or at least it's going to really not hurt our legitimacy. All right. And what's this? Caught red-handed. Hauled in front of the court, Adiatuanus Calatus, who is the high priest, is a sorry sight. Caught with length of chain in hand, he says he has been ready to strike down Malleus Orgators in a brutal act of violence. Who is this? One of the researchers. Minor character researcher. Luckily, passers-by were quick enough to act and prevent this terrible deed, and now we have the unenviable task of passing judgment on the wicked Adiatuanatus. So, get some loyalty with the high priest, lose it with the more loyal researcher, or do some crazy stuff. So let's not do crazy stuff here. That's the high priest. Whether or not he's a perfect high priest, I can't say, but like, you know, we're trying to stabilize things right now, folks. That's our goal here. Now, as our stability is about to hit 50, we're going to start losing the passive upward trend, which means, is it law changing time? Assuming that I actually have the influence, which I don't, so it's not law changing time to answer that question. But when it is law changing time, can I change to this? Yes, so I can actually change to agnatic cognatic. Is that the first one I want to do? I can't say for sure. I will have to revisit that when it is, in fact, law changing time. Right, this is progressing along. Yeah, so we're not going to be at this point until near the end of next year, so totally fine. Our port is being constructed, very good. I think I already mentioned this, but even though this is otherwise a pretty good tile for a city in the future, it's not on the river, but it is plain, it's coastal. Fish isn't the best resource. I have a lot of fish floating around elsewhere, so I'd rather have this be a port for now. I can always build a city later anyways, so it's not like the port will preclude a city. In fact, a farming settlement for the fish would actually more so preclude a city. So this is actually not something worth going into at all. Once again, I'm overthinking things. Oh, I forgot to move my navy back. Whoops, sorry, Warwicks. He's been sitting in the ocean for a year just waiting around. All right. finish the thing there in Ulconum. Have I been paying my navy as well? That would be a real blunder. Nope. Okay, good. So he's been sitting with no pay in the ocean. That's even worse for him. But he's gonna return finally to Durham. I thought I already had him set to go. I guess I canceled the order somehow. Don't know what happened there, but that's no big deal. Sorry, Boyrix. Head back to Durham. You good man. You. Anyways, looking pretty good. Now, do I want to change a law first, or do I want to build the city first? The default answer is I'd rather build a city first, or found a city first. Unless there's a law I really want super soon. So let's see here. This one has no... Actually, I can't do this until I have land tithe. Actually, all of these are stuck until I get different inventions. I guess the one that I do have access to is King of Kings. So this one could be kind of interesting. Subject opinion of us plus 15 versus integration speed and dip rep. Well, I am only going to have subjects I can integrate. That's a stance I've already decided on far before this point. Plus dip rep is kind of interesting. This one is definitely an eventual change. I don't know if this necessarily needs to be the first law we target for change. This is just one I know for sure I will switch to. We already have the 100 territory required. Now, the succession law, is there anything except for agnatic cognatic I'd prefer? Definitely not agnatic seniority. I already remember from Crusader Kings 2, actually, when seniority was more easily accessible than in Crusader Kings 3. Seniority can cause your dynasty to basically collapse. So, yeah, this is just a big mess, unless you really like an uncle versus a son in one situation. I wouldn't recommend this probably for this game either. Elective succession is interesting, but I don't know if this keeps it within the house or if this means any character can be king, which would really not... Basically, for succession, what I want is a straightforward and predictable succession situation as much as possible. That's my goal. And that's part of why I'd prefer agnatic cognatic over agnatic primogenitor, because having female children re-enter the line of succession if all the boys die, if all the men die, that at least makes it easier to think about than female children just don't count when my government type allows females to be in government. So I don't know if that makes sense. If I had a men-only government type like the Greek nations do, then this would make more sense in terms of thinking about the role female characters play in my country. But because female characters have seemingly equal rights except for succession, I'd rather have a succession system that closer replicates their right status within our country. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone else, but that's the way that I'm thinking. And the last one, and the most cursed one, is, of course, familial marriage. This one actually establishes full gender equality, but at what cost? Let's not even think about the cost. Let's not do that. Now, the other option is we do military reforms as our law. So the current thing we have is a levy size multiplier, which gets us closer to what we got as a tribe, but not as much. And the cohort starting experience is kind of nice, but not a huge deal. We could change it. So these both don't allow legions. This one worsens unintegrated culture happiness, which is a lot of cultures. Most of the cultures aren't integrated. So this one is a little dicey, military service. We also get a much bigger levy, so there's something to that, although levy size isn't currently our problem. This one is really good for mercenaries, but we will not be able to raise legions. And lastly, this one is the capital region legion. That's a sick rhyme right there. This one gives us the worst levy size multiplier, but better discipline. So this is for more small elite armies. I think even though legions are expensive and kind of an investment, I certainly have the money to do such a thing. I think I'd rather proceed all the way up to legions instead of doing these middle grounds. I'm large enough where having smaller levy size will be easily offset by having legions, and being able to raise them in the capital region doesn't hurt us at all right now because our capital region, Britannia, is most of our territory, and we can raise them, I think, anywhere in the capital region, not just in Londinium, but Londinium's a really central location anyways. All that being said, though, I think the first law I will target in my next law selection is going to be that agnatic cognatic, just to get it out of the way so I don't forget about it. That's that. Although I do think, ultimately, none of these law changes are as important as founding more cities. So I'm going to do city foundations before I do those things. And we'll take a look at the city foundations I plan to do pretty soon, once we hit 35, no, not 35, 50 political influence, yeah. All right, the farming settlements have finished, so that's pretty good. I don't think any of them are going to start producing more resources now. Maybe they are. Probably not, because they don't have enough slaves. Yeah, definitely not. And I don't think there's enough slaves to shift over to them. So let's see, for example. I literally just was looking at the list of them. Let's see. Yeah, so it's these four. I'll select that mission in a moment, though. So one of these already had... Actually, none of them already have slaves. Okay, so for example, which one of these would I want to have an extra copy of? Is sheep or vegetables more valuable? Let's check the market. So livestock is 0.3, vegetables is 0.2. So we want to produce more livestock. So let's head over to Leto Ketum is in the corner of several areas, so this should be easy to move slaves to. Has no slaves currently. Okay, that's not a good start. Let's actually go over to Rete, which already has 5 slaves. So if we want to move more slaves over, now they have a farming settlement, which means we need less slaves for surplus. How many less slaves? We need to have 12 slaves for surplus now. Okay, so if we want to move slaves over. Okay, so we have to be a little careful not to move slaves that are part of... Okay, so these are not all 10, so this should be fine. Oh yeah, so it's this number here. Okay, so... Yeah, all right. Is this the number that's needed in Derbento? 12. Okay, no, it's not. Oh, that's the pop capacity. Okay, we're good. So we're gonna move slaves over. Derbento needs 12 slaves. It has 13, so I can move one slave over from Derbentio. That's a little dangerous. If one more slave pop dies if I moved a slave over, then I'd lose one export of precious metals, which is much more valuable than an export of livestock. But I think it is still worth it. So we're going to move one over from Derbentio. And now we need to move a few more over from Banawenta. Banawenta is a city, so I don't actually need any slaves in Banawentia if we're being fully honest here. Move the pops over. All right. All right, 9, we need 3 more. All right, now we're producing 2 livestock. Very good. So now we're going to take full advantage of that that's farming settlement. We're actually almost at the pop capacity, so we got to be a little careful about that in some of these settlements. But we're not going to likely cross over if we're just filling up for one extra slot of one extra unit of livestock. So it should be fine. Now over here in I think Alauna is the next best with 3. All right, so moving pops over from Alauna. What do we have here? 2 slaves. That's fine. Let's see. 2 slaves. Okay, yeah, we're fine. We're safe to move over. So move pops. Okay, what do we need here? We need 10 slaves here. So how this number here is determined, I wish I knew, because this has been a big mystery for me this entire series. The folks who leave comments, I notice you and I love you. You are my favorite boys of all. Please continue leaving comments because that's really helpful for me. If any of you happen to know how this number is calculated and leave a comment, you're going to be my favoritist of all the boys. So that's your incentive. But yeah, if anyone has any idea how that's calculated, I really want to know because a lot of my slave micromanagement is based around this number, and this number changes across my settlements, and I don't understand why, and that's it's irritating. Anyways, so you over here, you're producing wood. We can definitely sell you over to Alauna. That's the wrong button, you goof. All right. Okay, that's actually the last slave. So let's not move the slave over from here. That's a little dicey, actually. Should have left a second slave there, but I didn't realize there were no other pops. All right, so let's not move any from... So one thing we can do, actually, is whenever there's one slave and it's just as it's 1 here, 1 out of the pop cap, that's our sign. Don't click this button. Don't move that slave. That's dangerous. All right. There we go. Now we're at 2. Very good. Who's the holder here? Sulakena Urkia. All right. Okay, and then finally, Well, it's not the last one. We can also move for the vegetables, but the last livestock one over here. Let's go ahead and move slaves in here. I guess I could have gotten a... actually, hold on. Yeah, so the move slave bonus for vegetables is nationwide. I actually think, again, I think I've said this before, but I think the nationwide benefit of the vegetables, if you're doing any kind of like slave economy, this is unbelievably strong. This is one of the strongest, like weirdly enough, vegetables are one of the strongest bonuses because that 25% adds up over time, even when you have a lot of money and it's not that expensive to move slave pops around. It really adds up if you're seriously trying to micromanage your slave economy. Just move slave cost is so good. Anyways, where am I looking at here? Looking at Leto Kentum, moving slaves over. So we can move from Mediolanum. That looks fine. They want to move it from another settlement like there. No, you're another. Yeah, so not from those places. Let's see here. It's fine. Derbentio, I think, is already at the limit. Yeah, let's not move from Derbentio. What do we need here? We need 10 here. Maybe it's based on the... I don't know what it's based on. I don't know how it's decided. Up there from the wood, it's totally fine. Let's leave 2, though, in there. Corinium is an iron producer. No mine here yet. I'm not going to worry about mining iron super soon. I don't think iron is super valuable. Yeah, it's the same as livestock, so I'd rather just move over to where I have the building as opposed to keeping slaves in Corinium to, in the future, have a mine there. It's better to do the little cost now. I'll grow more slaves later. All right, yeah, Corinium, so leave them with 2, that's fine. And Egoium, that's a woad, totally fine. Leave them with 2, and we're at 2. Okay, good stuff. So now we're gonna select that mission. I could have selected the mission before I did all that, but we're gonna select it now. Dabunia is one of the most fertile provinces in Britannia, and with the right support, its farms could feed the entire region. So now we get 10 years. Is that right? Yeah, 10 years of extra monthly food modifier from Dabunia. We have basically maxed food everywhere because we don't really have a huge population, comparatively speaking, yet. I think I might actually begin to build granaries. Speaking of which, by the way, there is in fact a mission to turn Banawenta into a city and then build granaries here. Now, Banawenta is actually a super good location for a city, and it's honestly going to be my next city founding. It is on the river. It's extremely central, not only in the province, but in my nation. It is in a strategically important position. It's in the farmland. And it's in this very high food production province. So if I actually, like this mission has essentially pointed out a very correct place to build a city and also to build granaries. It makes a lot of sense to have granaries here in Banawenta if I want to have this province in this very safe central location of my land become a high pop province. It has lots of farms. It's on this river here. I don't know what river this is offhand, but you may know from real life geography. So we're going to sort of follow the mission suggestion and make Dabunia this breadbasket. So grab that. Now we can already select this, which disables the Granary of Britannia option. And we're going to build a city in Banawenta either way, but what this would do if we went for this option, it would cost us some gold. And Banawenta would permanently get a very, very powerful sort of permanent extra granary modifier. Now that's not a granary building. That's actually just a bonus for the location. So this is a big commitment to food capacity. Or get 10 years of Freeman happiness. That's not bad for sure, but I think because I'm already going to turn Banawenta into a city, I may as well commit to this option and give it a very powerful food capacity bonus. So we're going to wait a bit on the mission and just do it like this and do it on that side. So that's that. Let's resume. Yeah, so that's just the alternative bread and circuses thing. We're not going to pick that, as I mentioned earlier. Now we have to wait for 50 political influence to go ahead and get the city built in Banawenta. Also, someone commented, another helpful comment, that I should have my characters set to be doing scheme influence to generate extra influence. This is a really good point and something I haven't been thinking about, despite spending probably 30% of this entire Let's Play just complaining about the inability to generate influence faster. This is a really good point and something I'm going to be doing now with Donis. I don't know if other characters doing it at the same time is even stronger. Possibly it is. The only downside is it costs popularity to do, which is the one reason I might not have wanted to have been doing it the whole time. I think right now Donis' popularity is secure enough, especially with those veterans floating around. Keep an eye on that. I guess he's the king, so it's fine. So we're going to set Donis to do the influence scheme. It should be fine. He also has a lot of money, so I don't need to worry about doing the wealth scheme, which the commenter also pointed out, so we're going to do that. Cool, so that's going to improve our influence gain. That actually improves it by quite a bit. Oh my gosh. Possibly only one influence scheme going on adds that modifier. If it is additive to multiple characters, that is broken, but I doubt it's like that. I don't think even like Imperator Rome could have a mechanic that broken. I severely doubt it, at least, but anyways, how's it looking down here? Looking, it's getting better. And over here, it is finally improving, actually by quite a bit now. Okay, we bring sad news. Sulikena Urkia, rather. She was the head of the Urkia family, died of natural causes. Very sad. Let's take a look and see how the Urkia are holding up at this point. Who is their new head? Looks like it is going to be Talork Urkis, I think. Why can't I ever just figure this out? Let's see here. Go back to characters. Oh yeah, I can see it like this. So Urkii. Talor Urkis is the head. He is not actually employed. He's just the most old of them. It looks like it, actually. I guess he's just the eldest of them, so that's fine. No big deal. Our claim on Rabogdia is proceeding. That's fine. It's actually... let's have you relocate up to Manawia. I think the port being tier 1 shouldn't affect the number of ships who can hang out here without attrition. I don't think that's even a mechanic in this game. I'm getting it mixed up with another Paradox game, as I often do. By now you should have noticed that. Right. Over you go. Any reason to build more ships? I think I could probably afford to bump it up even more. The 2-to-1 ratio I think is still probably advisable, so let's go ahead. We're going to add 4 Liburnians to get to... No, that's wrong. We're going to add 5 Hexeres, and we're going to add 9 Liburnians, is what I meant to say a moment ago. So let's go ahead and just do it like this. We can just build straight to this navy now. It's just going to auto-build them in all of our ports. We do at this point have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 ports, so that's something at least. Only 2 of them can actually build the Hexeres, though. So let's actually manually build the Hexeres here so it doesn't fill these slots with the wrong type of ship. Build 2 and 3. All right, so... I don't have a level 3 port? Oh, I only have a level 2 port. Didn't I have a level 3 port before? Am I going insane? I thought I had a level 3 port in Durawernum. What happened here? Okay, I don't know exactly. I'm pretty sure I had a level 3 port in Durawernum, and it must have been reduced somehow. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to worry about that right now. In between episodes, I'll try and think that over and figure out what the deal is. Anyways, we're going to build the Hexeres, all 5 of them here. And then we'll build the other set from here. So 5 Hexeres, and then we're going to build 9 Liburnians. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. Solid stuff. And our manpower is recovering slowly but surely. Big fan of that. Did I set up a colony over here yet? Possibly. In Wargium. I think I didn't set up the colony yet. Let's do that now before I forget about that too. Someday I'll do it the first time. All right, so Aramorican found a colony in Wargium. All right. Wargium, a Iceni colony. The arrival of Iceni settlers has hardly endeared the local population to us, but the foundation of a colony in this area is without a doubt the best way to exert control here in the long run. Soon, even the local Aramorican inhabitants will see how our city will prosper and surpass any previous settlements that they may have had in the area before the land was confiscated. So we're going to shift tons of Iceni over here into Vorgium. Very good. That's not going to help the loyalty situation because we just gave them a bad modifier on the cultural level, and also probably affected, in Wargium itself, it's pretty severe, but that will improve over time. And with that earlier loyalty event, I think we're okay. A voice behind bars. It would seem that Carwarinus Epaticus, despite his incarceration... Who are you? You must have been... Did I forget to sell you into slavery? Hold on. Oh, I forgot to sell them all into slavery. Whoops. That's a... Oops. Okay, so we're going to kill this person and gain tyranny. We have no option not to. Well, that's a bit of a mistake. I forgot to sell them all into slavery. Or did I? Maybe I think I did, even though there's only a couple of them. I think I just literally forgot. Okay, so we're going to do that now. Anyone who we can't sell into slavery, we're going to release. That's fine. We'll release you. We are going to sell into slavery. Yeah, that's... It's because in between episodes, last episode I forgot to do it, and then this episode I didn't think about how I forgot to do it. Sell into slavery, that's fine. Getting tyranny, totally fine. Sell into slavery. I probably don't need to sell them all. Like, if they don't offer as much money, it's probably not as worth it, but yeah, I think it's fine. And having tyranny as a monarchy isn't actually necessarily always the worst thing, so sell into slavery. Just get them out of this game. This also removes them from the game, so they don't need to worry about... That's the wrong button. Sell into slavery. Okay, I think that's all of them. All right. Whoops. It's a pretty funny mistake, honestly. On top of leaving Boyrix sitting in the water for a year. All right. This is why I shouldn't play on Speed 3, honestly. All right, what's now? Bad research ratio. What is the issue here? Citizens and nobles aren't producing enough stuff. Did we just lose another building slot? Why is the population here decreasing so quickly? Yeah, wait, hold on. Now we're down to a level 1 academy. I thought I had more space here. What's the issue? I think... Did I just have 7? Very weird. Okay, I don't know what to make of that, but very strange stuff indeed. How much time do we have left on this? September 1st. All right, let's go ahead and at the end of April, we'll get our levy raised and get them sort of moved over. We probably don't need to do it quite then, actually. We can probably afford to wait a little bit. Where do I want to actually pick them up? I'll pick up the levy in Oconum and then move them over to Britannia like that just for maximum speed. Should be totally fine. Maybe at the end of... let's see, when are these ships done? Or I guess these ships won't be done in time. That's fine. I don't need the full Navy done before this war. I don't even know if these guys have ships. If they do, it's not going to be in an amount that matters at all. At the end of June, we'll look at our army organized and sent away. Should be fine. What's this? Oh! Wait, no. That's not... Okay, I thought Borix had died, but he's still there. It's just a different navy. It doesn't have a thing going. Alright, gain stability, lose influence. Ooh. I'm so close to being able to found my city, but... let's see, 7-ish months of influence versus untold number of years for stability. Actually, yeah, just... This is still worth it. Look at our stability, oh my gosh. Now we're at a point where you don't even have stability growth. We're not even trending back towards it. At the end of July, I'll get my troops up. I think at this point, it is probably definitely worth it to... Well, I think it is still better to get more stability, because that's going to improve your legitimacy, which is quite valuable, of course. All right, here comes the end of July. Okay, Incendiary Slave speaks in Alauna, which is here. We just set up a bunch of slaves over here. So we've seen this event before. I'm not going to reread it. Let's see. It's probably best to round up the troublemaker. Killing a slave, though, in Alauna. That's irritating. We're going to move a slave in before we do that, just so we can't, because that's annoying. Right at the end of the month, too. I don't know if this is going to mess up my livestock extra. Also, is no one buying my livestocks? Why not? Yeah, wait a second. Why is no one wanting to purchase these livestocks? I guess no one really needs livestock necessarily. All right, let's just do this. Gain some popularity for Donis. Slaves aren't happy, but what do you expect? Gain some tyranny. That's fine. Now we'll move a pop over from there, and now we have 2 again. That's fine. All right, 1st of August. Let's go ahead and get our army set up. The Caledonian levy is going to match the Robogdian army, so let's actually send the full Britannic army over. It's definitely overkill, and I could potentially... I don't know if I'm able to actually split it and what's it called? Kind of send home parts of it. I don't know if I can when they're levies. Oh, that's irritating. I didn't mean to actually do it like that. That's fine. We'll just send these guys to pick them up in Londinium. No big deal. And also get our army maintenance up. And I guess get our fleet maintenance up. That's fine. Yeah, get that all going in preparation. What's the issue now? It's, We actually have no power base effect from this. This is Kunowina Duika, is the rival of the king. What's your issue? She's just part of the... She's just in the Duika household. I don't know. Let's not worry about that too much. Get our guys up, then we'll send them over. Yeah, a bit of an oops there. I should have remembered to actually raise them in Ulconum. A loyal subject. Our ruler's efforts to influence Arianerhad Urkea are well underway. In a jovial mood, Arianerhad approaches King Donna, suggesting that a formal declaration of her loyalty and commitment to the court would be a fine way to show our appreciation. We remain unconvinced that this is a politically sensible move. Could get a lot of... Ooh, wow, okay. This is the unusual inverse. Gain influence for losing stability. Usually it's the other way around. Or do this, gain stability and lose loyalty. Her loyalty is pretty secure. I don't actually need stability, but do I want to lose stability? 46 stability is actually pretty fine, I'll be honest. And getting 48 political influence, this is, again, when do you ever see these events that give you political influence like this? Even though the conversion of these things is not at all good, because I'm actually at the cap for the soft cap for stability gain with no more upward trend, I think I will do that. Stability drop, totally fine. But now, before we go to war, because we can't found cities during war, let's found the city in Banawenta. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Or I guess we'll start the process of founding a city. Found a city in Banawenta. That's where we want to found it. Okay. And because we're also not at war, and because we now have exactly 35 political influence, we could wait and then do it with 50 and found another city, but then we have to wait for the war. Let's instead let's do a law change. Change it to agnatic cognatic. Just get this out of the way. It's going to become cognatic primogenitor. So this will just ensure that in the future, we won't need to worry about weird succession issues with like all female children, but no male child. So that'll just take care of that. All right, that will cost more stability, but we're going to be above the 25% threshold, so this is totally fine. So we just lost a lot of stability from all these things happening, but that's okay. The principle of cognatic succession is to allow female children of the monarch to succeed to the throne if there are no valid male heirs. This can affect the perceived legitimacy of a dynasty, but will greatly decrease the chance of a failed succession. I would much rather have a bit of an international succession problem, or prestige problem, from having a female ruler, which in my situation, I don't think any of my neighbors will care because they're all gender equality Celtic nations. And just ensuring the Dewicka family stays in charge is what I care about, so we are good to go. All right. Let's get these guys on the ships, please. We got the Castles Valley. Didn't even have our army in position yet. That's how badly I mismanaged that deployment there. Oh, well. That's fine. 22nd of October. We're not going to wait for that. All right, come on. Just get in position. Get all merged together. Very good. On the boats you go. And we're going to send you up to... I guess I could actually land onto the land. That'd be a little extra. Let's just come here and depart in Isamnion. That's what I meant to say. On we go. The city is being built. When will this be done? What am I looking for here? 30th of August, 5/11. Solid stuff. You come up to Mawia. You know what? Earthenware? Where's my livestock purchasers? I have so much livestock now to sell. If I don't sell this, I'm going to be producing so much. Oh my god, look at this food production. 83 per month? Holy moly. Look at Banawia's food production. Or Banawenta. Oh my god. How is it producing this much food? What in the world? Is it because the livestock are located in Banawenta? I think that's why. They're technically like inside Banawenta, the capital, the provincial capital. That's absolutely bonkers. I've never seen so much food production. Anyways, not to you, not to you, not to you. No, oh my gosh. Can I... Where are my Germans at? I want to sell to people who I'm not bordering. That's all I want in this world, honestly. Is it so much to ask? Okay, that's much better. All right, we're going to sell earthenware to you. That's fine. Totally fine. Very much totally fine. Okay, so now... Okay, actually, hold on. One thing that this succession change did affect that I didn't think about is because he's still currently childless, his sister is now technically the successor, which is fine. It just wasn't expected. She is childless. She has no husband. Totally fine. I'm not going to worry about that. But worth noting, I didn't quite think that one through because he is childless. But I do expect him to have children. He has his young wife, his very young wife, and she is perfect health, so we should be fine. Speaking of someone who's not in perfect health, Malleus Orgatorus died of dysentery. He was the researcher, and he was the rival of the head of the Calatii family and possibly avoiding future problems. All right, so we need a new researcher for oratory. Who wants to put a person in power? Any of them, except probably not another Dewicka. We need to split apart the Dewicka's stranglehold on everything. Let's see here. You would be... governor or ruler? You're in the Urkii family, so you'd be fine. Yeah, so you have 8 charisma. You have 10... I mean... You're in the the Welbii family. Let's get the more qualified Welbii character. You don't have any traits that matter. Pretty loyal. Yeah, you're fine. 49. All right. So Akissa Welba is going to be the researcher. That's fine. Let's get our troops. Oh my gosh. Xenophobia. Heated debates in the court are not uncommon, especially where so many prominent members of society are involved. Lately, a wave of xenophobia has swept across Britannia, resulting in foreign values being regarded with great distrust. All in attendance at today's debate agreed, however, that Belicianus Welbus crossed the line today when he accused King Donus of indulging in barbaric Saluian practices. Good lord, the absolute nerve. All right, well, you can turn the other cheek, giving that guy prominence and popularity and making him lose loyalty. He's already kind of on the cusp. In fact, he's currently our only disloyal character. He's the head of the Welbii family. Or we could become his rival. He's so old. I think it's probably okay. We also just gave someone in his family a position, so I don't know. He maybe needs to kind of not be biting in the hand that feeds them, but whatever. We're going to gain some free popularity and prominence from this, and we'll have an ancient man be our rival. That's okay in my book. So let's finally, please God, arrive and land here. That's going to be it for this episode. Sorry for this extra long episode, but I literally was just crawling towards the end, just wanting to disembark my guys on Ireland, on Hibernia, before the episode ended, and of course every event was happening on the way. But thank you so much for watching. Next episode we will launch the war against Robogdia, and hopefully, fingers crossed, have a uncomplicated, straightforward, complete one-sided war against this poor little Irish community with our massive Britannic army. See you all next time.